Hey everybody, what's up? Mr. Dissonance here, and today is a super cool video. First of all, because we have Ryan MOCA O'Donnell here to help out. Say hello, young Ryan.
Hello.
Alright, that's the sound of his voice. And second of all, because it's a series of games that I've played against Chris Moneymaker. And I'm sure everybody knows who he is, but I'm going to take a minute to say what a mensch this guy is. What a fantastic person. He pretty much single-handedly started the poker boom with his WSOP win, I think back in 2003, and he has been the nut ambassador for poker, bringing people into the game, bringing money into the game, acting with class and dignity for his entire career. If all of the top pros were like him, this would be one of the most respected and profitable professions on earth. He's an absolute gem. And the only person I would rank up even close to Chris Moneymaker is maybe Daniel Niagranu, who has always been a classy and super awesome ambassador for the game. So an absolute pleasure to be playing against him, and an honor, and I thought these hand histories might make a really cool little video. So let's start going through the hands in the replayer. And I had quite a few matches against him, and you might also be interested to know that he has a really good heads-up hyper game. Surprised the heck out of me. Not many red pros do. In the end, MOCA said, what did you say, Mock? Just quit the guy, right?
Quit him. He's better fish.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was actually really solid and surprised the heck out of me. I would rate him as somewhere around a $100 to $200 reg ability. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. Especially in his check raises and stuff like that. You just don't see many regs even doing that. So his ability to even do that was quite good.
Yeah, really difficult to play against. So a great series of matches. And as always, this video is going to be aimed at sort of beginner intermediate level, and hopefully you'll get a lot out of this. I certainly got a lot out of playing Mr. Moneymaker. So let's have a look here. On the button, raising, which is pretty standard. And here I see bet this spot. If I had known that Mr. Moneymaker is going to check raise me like an ass every hand, then I would certainly not. But I didn't know at this stage, he's got a really high check raise percentage, and this is just a hand that is like the ultimate check raise spot for anyone who likes to do it. And there we go, snap check raise, and I have to fold. In hindsight, I think I would have checked back and tried to realize more equity. What do you think about that?
Yeah, or you got two options there. You click it back on him, but yeah, that would definitely be the more conservative way of playing the hand and keeping.
Yeah, so there you go. Like, MOCA is like, well, I might click it back, but me being the ultimate nit is like, yeah, I'll just give it up. So fair enough. All right, he folds, nice timing, and raising 4-6. A lot of good players would think, well, that's a really horrible hand to raise. When I don't know anything about my opponent, I'm raising almost everything.
Yeah.
All right, and looks like a great spot to see bet. Not many ace-x's in the range of my villain, and he can certainly have some jack-x and flush draws and stuff like queen 10 and king 10. So when he calls me and I bink the turn, I actually bet this second barrel for value. If you think about the majority of his range, shouldn't be many aces, lots of jacks, but flush draws if he doesn't get aggressive with them, and queen 10 and king 10. It's actually, and 3x as well as possible. It's hard for him to get aggressive with a flush draw here because he doesn't have many ace-x's as the caller, and you know, I can sort of play when he does check raise me. It's not normally middle pair this deep, and it looks a lot like a flush draw, and I can play really well against his range. What do you think, MOCA?
Yeah, and I also think you're keeping the initiative, and so you don't have a tough decision against river bet if he does have a jack and stuff like that. And so yeah, you're getting equity against his draws, and this is the only street you can now get equity against his draws. So betting here definitely is most plus EV line, I'd say.
All right, so we fire the turn, half pot, which is okay. Get flattered again, and when he flats me again, I'm thinking his range gets narrowed down a lot towards a jack.
It definitely does.
And then on the river, I just don't think he's folding a jack to a third barrel. Other people might disagree with me. The stack size is okay in that I can bet almost pot, but I don't think I'm getting the fold. He's going to hero call me, I'm pretty confident. And I have to give up versus Jack X.
Yeah, and you're still winning against the King Queen and the King 10 if he does have that in his flatter range, which he might still call 2 streets with.
Yeah, and the flush draws.
And
any random 3Xs and so on.
For the flush draw, maybe you should make it 60 on the turn, just to make sure you're still getting called with them flush draws.
If he does have a flush draw, however, he's going to have a flush and 2 overs.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So probably don't want to give him that much equity.
Yeah, that's true.
The advantage of a 60 bet is it does set up the river a little better. I've got 290, and what's that put in the pot will be 290 in my stack and 290. Is that right? Yeah, 290 in the pot, I think. No, 280.
280, yeah.
Yeah, simple maths. Which is like a really ideal sort of pot sizing to jam the river on, like full pot. So that would be one advantage of it. But with the 2 overs, I think a little bit bigger is
sure.
better. Yeah. All right, and check, and he stabs. So he knows how to limp and stab, which is more than I expect from your average red pro, and he's certainly not your average red pro. Yeah, well, I am being a little bit rude to the red pros, but most of them are not heads-up specialists, and normally we just rub our hands when we get sat by a red pro.
For sure. Mr. Gillo.
Are you thinking of El Grillo? Yeah.
Grillo, that's it.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and everybody, and he's an asset to have at the tables in the sense that he brings more players into the game, and we love that. And he's a challenging player to play against. All right, so here I've got bottom pair in a limp and stab pot. My problem with my problem with calling it, and I don't like calling it so much, is my range looks really weak. Like I don't have a 10 here, I'd raise it. I probably don't have 7, 8, or I'd get aggressive with that probably. So it looks like I got a 5 or a 6, and then villain can barrel any overcards to the 5 or 6, and I just have to end up folding. So it's probably not a great check call anyway. And 6, when he bets that, I just have to completely give up now. So there's no turn cards coming where I can continue, is my point. And if the villain's good enough, he can just barrel so many turn cards, except for, of course, a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So it's the majority of the time I'm going to be calling and giving up, so I'm probably better folding on the flop. What do you think, Mark?
I mean, it would be okay if you knew that he was just aggressive and stuff like that, so you could maybe even jam this turn, but readless at this point, the way you played it is totally fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should be just folding the flop because there's so much turn aggression coming that I can't handle.
Yeah, but now you know him as well.
Yeah,
not knowing him, he was any fish at that point.
Fair point. All right, here we get 6s at, what is it, 8.5, and I think just open jams, pretty standard there. Lose a flip to King 10 on the river, and first match over. I don't know if I even won a hand, but hey, that's how we roll.